Greetings, fellow hunters. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival, Episode 25, Stocking Up on Pork. As you can see above my head, the first thing I want to do is to make tongs, because I, burned my tongs last stream. And then I have some other goals that I want to work on above all else. So, tongs. What ended up happening there was, I put a tool rack. In fact, let's just, solve that problem now, so it never becomes a problem. I put a tool rack here, and it just, burned from the pit kiln, which is, serves me right. Obviously, it was, way within the flammable region. So what I'm doing here is I'm removing the stone there to replace it with a full block, and then another half block on top, so that I do not use it as a shelf, and it does not burn going forward. A weird way to grab 4, but it worked. So first we'll fix why the tongs burned, and then we will foolproof it so that the tongs I won't put anything there in the future. So oh, that's not where I meant to put that. Oh, okay. It's gonna be like that, huh? A vintage story. I do like the sort of open look of this all, and obviously a lot of the smoke is I might, let me try to fix that too. I'm sort of curious if it can prevent the smoke from pouring in, because I don't need more smoke. 1, 2, okay. How to do this? There's 8. I'm sure there's a better way, but that will work. So once I've changed the smithy a little bit so that it's doesn't destroy my tools and maybe doesn't get smoked up. I think that should redirect the smoke out once it starts re-rendering, because then it should pour the other way. Hypothetically, at some point I could add windows if it really becomes an issue, but I kind of like the smaller window on that side, so I'm sticking with this. Alright, let's go ahead and make tongs. So go to the handbook. Tong, oh. Wow, if I could... How many typos can I manage in 1 second? So a coil of rope and some sticks. Easy enough. And then afterwards, I have a bunch of other goals that I would like to tackle. And I don't think it's worth pulling on, because they're somewhat... I wouldn't say they're time sensitive, but there's not a compelling reason not to do them. Alright, I am looking for other vines, because what I want is a coil of rope, and I was hoping to just make them out of vines. So let's just go to the nearest tree. I can see tons of vines hanging off. And if you're wondering about future projects, I'll pull on them. I'm not touching the smithy again until it gets pulled on. I don't work on projects that aren't voted on, as a rule of thumb. And I suppose, now that that's done, we can get rid of the dirt case. The dirt stairwell going up there. And the well still needs their bonded bricks in order to be completed. And I will get back to that project once the current clay forms are done. Okay, let's grab our sticks for the tongs. I'll just put the rest of my sticks in my inventory, because it looks like we need more sticks anyway. I'm waiting on some water to boil so I can hydrate. And let's put these tongs up in the smithy. Perfect. I have not been catching fish frequently enough. Oh, here's a little shell. Where, like, they've gone to rot before I bother with them. And I don't really want to keep with that pattern. Oh, there we go. Is this... Yeah, sweet. This is, the type of eggs that will refertilize the water. Okay, cool. I'm going to put the fish away and then start working on the next project. Ooh, actually, with that in mind, I may want to just cook up some fish and veggie soup in the other cooking pot. Oh, well, I don't need a new cooking pot. Just thinking about, making sure that I have plenty of prepared water. So this is boiled water. I'll put this away in the cellar so it keeps longer. And this is empty. Perfect. What I'll do is I'll do like a bearded tooth stew or soup with... Oh, what the heck? I don't know where my original water went, but alright. Boiled water. I don't want to create boiled water. I want bearded tooth soup and stewed fish. Alright, and then obviously we are at the moment out of fuel. Right, I don't have oh, this is clean awful. I don't have you know, any firewood or anything like that. So let's go ahead and cut down a few fern trees. As a stopgap measure, I'm not really planning on like amassing a whole lot of firewood right now, because that's not really my priority. Oh, I put in the crucible? Ah, got it. Well, I hear bees like right here. Oh yeah, I already marked them down. Okay. It's got our water, got our food, got more food coming up. Got the bricks needed for the well, getting finished over there. And then, the next project I have right now is make a butchery bag. So here's the long-term plan. The long-term plan is to start making leather, because I'm really not going to be able to have like armor that I want to wear without leather. So leather has to come first. And I would like to make a butchering bag so that I can properly hunt more than just like one creature at a time, because, you know, butchery bags are kind of nice like that. Can't put that on the floor, can I? So we'll put this away. So the plan is to get a butchery bag and to go hunting. And I'll probably be hunting the boars in the local area, which means I don't really need to go like above and beyond the types of gear I have available to me. I'll just use my falks. That should be fine. If I was hunting like faster game, like deer, I would want like a bow, but the boars are basically just gonna fight me until they are on the brink of death and then try to run away, and it's pretty easy to finish them. Then what I would like to do, after getting some leather and meat from the boars, the leather is going to obviously go through the tannin process. And then the meat, some of it will be cooked, but some of it I want to make smoked. So what I'll be doing after that is making a smoking rack. Now, I have two different mods adding smoking into the game. Primitive Survival adds the smoker, but Butchery adds the smoking rack. And I intend to use the smoking rack because it can smoke 16 meats at a time, and all it requires is like campfire wood. It's just a little bit more expensive to build the thing, but that's fine. So I'm gonna need to make 16 hooks. So after we do some hunting, I plan on starting leather making, and then making like a smoking setup. So make a butchery bag, go hunting, then make smoker rack. Am I gonna need all? I'll just whatever. Add all the firewood. So hunting bag, butchery bag. I probably don't have the pelts for hide one, so we'll just do a reed-based one, which means I need a whole bunch of cattails or papyrus and more coils of rope, which is no problem. So what I'll do is I'll grab the papyrus that I have here and the wild vines I have here. For now, it actually might make sense to put my backpack back on, just so I have more storage space for the stuff I need to haul around. And then we'll get going. Unfortunately, it's like the wrong time of day to be hunting for resources, but reeds and papyruses aren't that hard to find, as they are in ponds, and I can find where the ponds are relatively easy. It's just not a big problem. So I think I need 48 papyrus for it. I've already decided where to put the smoker rack. I'll put it this way, I'm not taking feedback. The no backseating tag is on for a very good reason. I don't need to be told what to do. If I want input, I pull on it, and if I don't want input, I don't pull on it. It's just that simple. So, if you're thinking of providing input, I mean, there's differences. There's like a, oh, you forgot the X, or Y, or Z. That's a different... being reminded about something that I intended to remember is very different than, hey, you should go do X, Y, or Z. And if you can't tell the difference between the two, it's best to err on the side of caution. So if it feels like I'm ignoring you in chat, it's probably because you're ignoring the tags and rules and goals and everything else. Like, it's maybe a good time to remind people that, like, for this specific series, it's a role-playing one. I'm role-playing a primitive human, if you will. Or at least one that, like, knows how to do metalsmithing. But it's also worth noting that, like, the idea of, like, I'm just gonna come up with a random idea, and I'm not, like, naming names or anything, but some people were like, hey, maybe you should just build, like, a giant ladder into the sky, and then plant berries up using high elevation. It's like, well, yes, in Vintage Story that would functionally work, and there were 2 people that suggested this. That doesn't make sense. A primitive human wouldn't build a ladder up to the sky, like a Tower of Babel, to plant berries. That invalidates the entire premise of this run. So, it's a cool idea, but it in no way works with what I intend to do, if that makes sense. And I think it's important to keep in mind that, like, yeah, we're primitive humans here. We're roughing it in the bush. We're not, like, you know, whoa, jeez. Holes like these are scary, because they don't have, like, an obvious footprint here on the map. And as such, you can stumble in them because it's not, like, highlighted like the base stone. And again, that's not, like, calling anyone specifically out. That's just, like, sharing ultimately what is the picture, the grand picture of this run, which is I'm not going to be doing anything, like, terrain exploitative. I'm not going to be, min-maxing. This is roleplay. And it's important not to lose sight of that for both me and you guys too. So suggestions, feedback, stuff like that, whenever I ask for it, should be within keeping of the theme. Yeah, that's quite the myrtle hole. I mentioned this before, but, like, at the end of the day, you can armor up all you want. You can be head to toe steel. Doesn't really matter. When you fall, you fall. There is an item in non-Homo Sapien mode, which protects you from falling, which is like essentially a glider. But obviously, no such glider is going to exist for me because you can't get a glider in Homo Sapien mode because there's no like archive. None of that stuff exists. Fabian, thank you for the cheer. Thank you for following the RP rules. Yeah, I try. I mean, you know, when I come up with ideas for runs, I try to mostly follow them dutifully, which also often means, let me put this torch away, that I will not invalidate the challenge through the use of mods, because that's another thing that I commonly see, which is like, I butt up against some sort of issue, and then almost all the comments are like, mod out the problem. It's like, well, you might, at some point, what is going on over there? Will-o-wisps, I'm assuming? Bye. Am I in backcountry? Like, did I do a lot of drugs and didn't realize it? But yeah, my point is, like, anytime I run into an issue, if I just, like, add one more mod to fix issue, I think that's a poor way of approaching games in general. Because, if anyone that has played, like, a single-player game, I'm sure you've run into this before, which is, like, the moment you start, like, going into dev mode and, like, giving yourself free money or adding mods to make things easier, it kind of defeats the purpose of achievement. And I don't know about for you, but for me, it, like, immediately ruins what I've got going on. It's like, you know, like, the classic example was, like, in SimCity or The Sims or something like that. If you just, like, give yourself extra money, the whole, like, to my mind, the whole run is ruined. I've already cheated. Nothing I do beyond that point, I've accomplished for myself. That's not to say that there isn't a use for, like, save scumming at some points. You know, to correct mistakes that you've made, but not through, like, dev mode, not unless it's absolutely required. So, my thoughts about mods are, like, mods should make it more interesting, not less challenging. If you're adding mods to make it less challenging, when you're trying to do a challenge run, because of course, like, a Homo Sapien mode is, in effect, a challenge run, you are invalidating the challenge for whatever reason. And I can't help it. I don't know, this cave's boring. I have a track record of entering fun caves and finding cool stuff, so I was kind of hoping that I would benefit, but no. And the schema right now is, if I've explored the cave, I mark it black, and if I haven't, I mark it white. So that if I happen upon a cave and it's marked black, I know there's really no point in going in there, because I've been there, done that. And we got about half of, now we're into cattail territory. I'm gonna keep it with papyrus. Oh, hey, boar. I was gonna start hunting, but, Come on. Might as well string you up while I'm looking for more papyrus. One thing I noticed, like, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but right at the start of the stream, is, I live basically on top of high fertility soil. I didn't notice that until now. I thought it was so funny that I had just failed to see the high fertility soil that I lived on top of. So I'll show you where it is. It's pretty funny. So this is my base, right? This is high fertility soil. It's about 10 tiles from the base. Yep. Hiding in plain sight. Like you do. Can you mix papyrus and cattails? You can mix stacks, yes. So, like, you can have a stack of one, I believe, and then the stack of the other, but you can't, like... It has to be the full stack of one or the other, not both. Wow, that is not very filling. I mean, it's hydrating, but not filling. Here's the meat stew that I had. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's put that their stew away. Soup, whatever it is. Mr. Boar. There we go. Get you skinned. Where's your... Did you really not drop any leather? Okay. I mean, you're a boar. Maybe that's a thing. Alright, so I've somewhat exhausted the papyrus that I live immediately around. So if I want additional papyrus, I'm probably going to have to go further afield from the base, which is fine. So I'll head up to, like, these lakes up here. Actually, let's head down this way. I'll just mark it with a giant cyan skull and crossbones. Could it have fallen into the bucket? No, buckets can't store things like that. It's not a guaranteed drop, so I'm just assuming it just didn't drop. That's fine. So here's for instance, this is the saltpetered one I had fertilized, and its growth speed for potassium is 98%. And then the adjacent one's growth speed for potassium 66%. So it grows based upon fertilizer and moisture level, but it gives you a pretty good idea of, like, how good the fertilizer is, and it's even more effective in higher fertility soils because the fertility of those soils reach higher levels, so that it becomes more beneficial to fertilize. Is there something I can do to slow food and water loss? Yeah. A whole bunch of stuff. Oh, there bear is around here. You can build a cellar, which I've done. You can salt it, which I am in the process of doing. I have a ocean water sea salt being desalinated or dehydrated. I guess technically it'd be dehydrated. Dehydrated salt, seawater would be salt. Thought I heard something out there. You can store it in vessels and crocks. There's a whole bunch of different ways to prevent food from spoiling, and I've already taken those measures. So the butchering bag here, I've got the coils now, so now I just need the cattails. And I'm very close. I've got 44 of 48. Oh, papyrus, rather. So we're almost done. I might as well get all the papyrus here. I'm sure I'll use it at some point. Evaporated. Yes, thank you. Evaporating the water out of the buckets and forming salt that way. So it is sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Papyrus. A knife. And coils of rope. And there's my bag. And it will replace my regular bag slots, allowing me to hold up to 3 corpses. So that way when I go hunting, I don't have to return... I don't have to either give up my regular backpack slots or return for every kill. Which is going to make it a little bit easier to amass a decent amount of material in order to get leather. Because I probably want like a pretty decent amount of pelts, or hides rather, before I do batches of leather, because batches of leather take a while to process. And I only have 3 barrels, one for each type of chemical. So it's, you know, we're going to want to get a whole bunch of one type first. There is no cultivated version of wild vine now. It's just, it should be just named vine. But it isn't. So now if I go to pick this thing up, as you can see, it's in my bag. In my butchering bag. I don't really know how to put it down, though. Well... that's... a little... I'm not really sure what it's supposed to do. Right-click the table? Yeah, I am. I can try right-clicking the table. Did it not get skinned or something? What's going on? Yeah, it didn't get skinned somehow. It, like, bugged out. Because here it is, like, with all its skin back. There it goes. There's the leather that I was supposed to get. And fat. So I got raw hides and... okay. Well, we'll just do it again. It's fine. Alright, now the current priority is go hunting and get hides. Get a whole bunch of hides. So that we can make a large batch of leather. So I'm going to put my hunting backpack away. And nighttime hunting's probably the hard hour to do this at, but whatever. Yeah, that explains why there's no drop. I mean, again, it's like mods, and mods don't always work. So, glad we figured it out at least. It's about to be daybreak. That's going to make my job a little bit easier for hunting. Could I sleep? I could. I don't really intend to sleep unless I need the healing. It's about to be daybreak, so like I would be wasting daylight hours, food, and water. Which is a pretty bad deal if you ask me. So what I ideally want to be hunting is I want to be hunting animals of all the same type, so that they drop the same size pelts. Because when you put things into leather barrels, or processing barrels, like the leatherworking barrels, it all has to be of the same type, so you can't mix types. So if I killed like a boar and a hare, or a rabbit, I would not be able to put both of their hides in the barrel at the same time. And because the barrels require considerable processing, and I'll just remind you of the process here, mixing types creates like a lot of lag time. So in leather making, you put raw hides in lime water for 24 hours. Then you scrape it, put in weak tannin for 3 days, then a strong tannin for 4.5 days. So if I put like one bunny hide in the lime water, it will delay everything by like 4.5 days, hypothetically. I mean, it's so that's why I want a bunch of the same sized hides to do it in bulk and batch. So I have a map marker around here that there are like boars in the area. Let's just keep our eyes out. Come here, little boars. Got deer ear and shiitake, so like good eating. That's pink bonnet. bad eating. Midnight Kit, thank you for the resub. What? Good chunk. There we go. Into the bag. Now they aren't, the butchering bag isn't like a refrigerator. So I am gonna need to, you know, process these quickly as soon as I get home because, you know, I don't want anything to spoil. Wow, there is wild mushrooms everywhere. I'm punching them to, like, mark them down. My farm, for the record, is, like, half done being grown. And then once the farming is in full swing, especially with the high fertility soil, it's going to be a lot easier for me to keep my food and water needs met. With the well built, finally, when the bricks are done, and then the farm starting to yield decent crop, it won't be that labor intensive to make sure that I'm getting my nutrition and hydration met. And then everything becomes a little bit easier where I can start working on like loftier goals rather than survive today. Because up until now, more or less, it's been like survive the next 24 hours, you know? Life's rough like that. Well, we got white currants. I'm not gonna pull those, oh. A carcass. So something hunted something else, and that's a relatively large carcass, which indicates probably it was a bear kill. That would be my guess. Bear killed a boar or something like that. Let's get rid of that marker. I don't need that anymore. So I had previously marked down that the north from here was like lots of boar, but if I have to, I can go into like hyena country, which is not too far off. Hyenas would be around here to bag some hyena. I find that the hyena aren't like as difficult to kill as wolves were. Wolves like kind of really go fast and lunge, whereas the hyenas are like a little lazier, I guess, and more skittish. Maybe that's just my imagination. We have chicken. Snakes. I wonder what kind of snake that was. Rat snake. What kind of meat do you give? Snake meat? Yeah, I mean, snake meat. Why would it be anything but? I feel like, when I was wandering around, not looking to hunt, there were animals everywhere, and now there's, like, animals nowhere. Oh, here we go. I should probably have, like, a spear that I can throw for killing blow. That might make sense. Well, carcasses keep as long as you hang one after the other. Yeah, the carcasses, they're fresh for like 3 days. It doesn't take 3 days to process one, so it's fine. And I'm just looking for one more, which will run our total up to 4 kills and... Oh, what's in there? Pumpkin seeds. That's a weird place for pumpkin seeds. We also know that across the pond where the acacia are, there were like also hyenas over there, but I'd rather not go swimming if I can help it. I don't know if I've been up here before. This might be uncharted. I know I don't have a lot of life left on the pro pick, but maybe I'll pro pick around here too. There's not a lot of material that I'm still looking for, because we already have iron, we already have, I mean, I guess borax, but like, short of borax, we essentially have everything we need. Could we get a pumpkin pie if we had the tools and resources? Yeah. So if you're wondering about that, you can make cheese pie, fruit pie, meat pie, vegetable pie, soybean pie, peanut pie, with pumpkin, specifically. You can make, I guess not pumpkin pie. Pumpkin slices can go into a vegetable pie. So I guess that's the closest to pumpkin pie, which is funny because, you know, pumpkin's not a vegetable. But whatever. One more. Oh, God. They're constantly too close. How to wear out your pick for no reason. Cassiterite, so tin, zinc, iron, cinnabar, which is like mercury, I guess. What do you get out of cinnabar? Basically mercury. Not that it exists in this game. So cinnabar in this game is, if you're wondering, is like for dyes, pulverized into crushed cinnabar, which is an ingredient for red dye. But like, I think cinnabar IRL is like a host rock of mercury or something. Could be wrong about that. Okay, I can hear a lot of chickens. I'm gonna bring these corpses back, start processing them, and hopefully run into a boar on my way back. Yeah, the game is pretty permissive about what you can shove into a pie. It's like kind of whatever you want to put in a pie. The game's like, yeah, that's fine. Well, this looks like an open quarry cave. I do have a prospecting here of very high cassiterite. Not that it matters because we already know where tin is. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Oh, you actually hit me. And then you got stuck on a fern. Oh, you are fast. Not fast enough. So, all three are good weight. Sounds good to me. Yeah, I thought there was a pole there. Cinnabar is a bright red mineral, mercury sulfide. So I was right. Look at our home. I can see it from here. Looks like a mushroom town. Like the red clay shingles look like it's a mushroom from Minecraft or something. Whoa, that is just death trap. Just straight down to your doom. All right. I am sort of curious. Can I? Oh, that's awesome. There we go. So my butchery bag's just on the floor over there. So I could move around this corpse in my fourth slot. I'll just break my knife. It's fine. I'm actually out of space. Put the snake meat away. I know I'm like, my character's super hungry too. And I'm planning on using some of this meat in the smoking process. Oh, the other thing I could do is process the offal once I have all the boars butchered. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors.